Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to Seekers of the Supernatural. I'm your moderator, Tony Sparrow, tonight, of course, along with Ed Warren and Lorraine Warren. Before we begin the program, I'd like to thank all our camera crew and all our audio and visual help. Rod Vesey, he's our engineer and our director and producer. And also Paul in the control room, who's doing the sound, and Tom on camera 1, and Frank on camera 3. Without these guys, we couldn't bring the show to you. I couldn't run the camera and do the audio and put the tapes in and mix all the things down. So I really appreciate you guys tonight. I'd like to say thank you once again, and of course Lorraine and Ed, thank you.
Yes, we do.
Because it's not easy to give up your time like that. You're not getting paid. We don't even give you donuts. We don't even give you anything. We just say, hey, you come in, and you guys always come through, and we're happy. We're really proud of it. Tonight, we're going to talk about a case that's a little bit away from here, but not that far. It's in Torrington. Now, people who know Torrington know that it's an older city. It's a city of, say, 35,000 people. I used to live in Winstead, and I've been to Torrington many, many times. There's some nice places there, nice restaurants. But nestled in towns such as that are haunted houses, or places where ghosts appear. Now, I just found out about this place today, and Ed and Lorraine had gone there last week to Torrington. She'll tell you a little bit about where it's at and things like that. Ed says it's the Grand Central Station of Ghosts. So what I'd like to do is start out first with Lorraine, if I may. Lorraine, can you tell us about this, what happened in Torrington?
It's right near Yukon, Torrington, where you got a lot of your education, Tony.
That's where I got my degree, from Yukon.
That's right where you got your degree.
Okay, so it's near the Torrington branch of Yukon.
Yes, it is. It's
okay.
right near there. In fact, they have a student who stays a great deal with him because she lives in the Marial section of New Milford.
Oh, boy.
And since it's a long commute for her, her parents prefer that she stay with this family, who are a lovely, lovely family. Now, this house, it's a two-part house, but it's made into one home. And the oldest part is 1793. The newer part is 1870. So there's 5 bedrooms in this place. There's 2 large parlors. There's a central hallway that they have made into a big dining area because there's a great big fireplace in it. And there's 2 stairways. On the oldest part of the house is this little narrow stairway that you see in these very old homes. And the home is as neat as a pin, and the people are lovely. Now, they brought up their 2 children in this house, this couple. The woman was born there. She was born in the house. The house, like I say, has been in the family for 250 years. But her father was the type of man, although they witnessed and heard things back when she was a girl growing up, they could never talk about it. He forbid them to tell relatives, friends, neighbors. Nobody could talk about it, but numerous people had experiences. Now they're married, and it continues. But who do they talk to? They really did not know who to talk to. And it seems that at college, they talked a lot about us, and that's how we happened to become involved. Now, her husband gave her a digital camera for Christmas.
Nice.
Tony, if you ever want to see ghost globules in a house, it snows ghost globules. Now, you see them, and in most cases, they are taken after 9 o'clock at night. That's when most people get globules.
I think we should explain about the ghost globules. The ghost globule is comprised of electromagnetic energy. This is what the ghost gathers to manifest itself in such a house. As Tony said earlier, this is the Grand Central Station of ghosts. There are homes like this that are doorways to many, many spirits. But go ahead, Lorraine.
So now
You can speak.
Gee, thanks, honey. Thanks a lot, honey.
Speak. I say it to my little bear dog. Speak, bear.
So anyway, she's taking all of these photographs. Now she begins to show these to her husband. And she said, you know, I have a feeling that these are ghosts. And then the kids began to tell her about our programs and what we show during our programs. So he told her to stop taking them because he was afraid that they were going to have a real problem at the house. But nothing was
Well, if he ever wanted
going
to sell the house, he didn't want to try to sell a haunted house. And the house has been haunted for years, and he knows it.
Now, although he himself, Tony, has had experiences,
Who you talking about, the husband now?
the husband, he's had experiences, Tony, but he's an engineer. And believe me when I tell you, he don't want to give any recognition, although he has seen a great deal. What they describe is magic whispering. They hear conversations, each independent of another.
Now, the funny part about this magic whispering, you could hear it in another room. And you sneak over to see what's going on. And if there were lights on, you could see lights under the door. As soon as you open that door, the lights go off and the whispering stops.
Can you understand any of the whispering?
No, it's very difficult. It's extremely difficult to understand the whispering.
No, it's like mumbling.
One thing that always stands out in my mind, and especially with people who are not knowledgeable, is when they tell of this one experience. The daughter is 28 years old, very, very pretty girl. She's married. She told about this day. She was in the bathroom, and the doorway all lit up, like all around the door. Like there was an extremely bright light in there. And she thought, you know, she couldn't imagine what it was. And as she turned, she went over to the window, you know, in the bathroom to look out to see if something was wrong outside. And her aunt was standing there, a woman who had been dead for years. A woman who she loved very, very much.
Now, let me just ask you to interrupt for just 1 second, Lorraine. These people are very credible people, you say?
Very.
Oh, yeah.
How long have these hauntings been going on?
Probably all of this woman's life, Tony.
How old is this woman?
I'd say in her 50s.
All right, so the question I would have as an investigator, if I went into that house, would
Why?
be, why all of a sudden did you contact the Warrens after all of these years?
When she started taking the photographs and starting to get what she felt was evidence.
That she felt it was credible enough to get you in and
Yes.
look at the photos?
Yeah, because she felt,
Curiosity. She knew there were ghosts there because she's seen ghosts.
but now she
In
wants to
fact,
know who they
three
are.
of them at a time would see a ghost. They're in the living room, and all of a sudden they look, and here's man's legs. Then it goes up to the torso. The three people can see us at the same time, which is very unusual. Then they see this man walk right up the stairs and disappear. So she knew, and they all knew, that there were ghosts there.
Now the son, I think the daughter and son-in-law, I got the impression, they said we always come in the evening. I got the impression that they usually stop every night. Maybe it's on their way home to their house, you know, when they're coming home from their work. And the husband, the son-in-law, was tired, and he was lying down on the couch in one of the parlors.
Right.
And he was levitated, Tony. That is the one negative thing.
That's a big
That is-
guy. He's like 6'3", maybe
Yeah.
210 pounds, all muscle. He's lying on the couch, and all of a sudden he felt as though something were lifting him off the couch.
And
He got so
gripped
frightened,
it.
he grabbed onto the couch and held
gripped it.
on, and then it subsided after about 5 minutes.
Jeez.
But he said he'll never forget that.
Yeah, and all of these people are so credible. Now, as she looked out the window, she could see this woman. And the woman was in full color, Tony. She
Now, that was
could
on the
see-
second floor, though.
So it was on the second floor, and she could look out, and she was right there.
Wow.
And her arms,
What
this
we
is,
call crystal mancy is taking place, a reflection of the spirit on the window.
now, one thing she always remembers about this particular aunt is she was a maiden aunt, and she used to show up every Christmas Eve just loaded with presents, all beautifully wrapped. And that's the impression this girl always has of this aunt, how she always remembers her. And that's how she could see her. But she said, I certainly wasn't thinking about her. Now, a grandmother.
But wait, as the woman was outside the window on the second floor and this girl looking at her, the spirit is saying, let me in the house.
Oh, yeah, let me in the house. Yes.
She could hear that.
Yeah, she could hear the
Wow.
voice. I forgot about that. Now, a great-grandmother who also lived in this house, but she didn't know her. She didn't know this woman. She could see her ghost. She could see it, like a lavender dress that she was wearing, pearls at the neck, and then with this ghost, as she watched it, and it had a very pleasant face, it faded into a mist, and she could see the mist. Now, she described another thing with dashes and dots. The phone rang, and the phone was in her parents' bedroom, and she ran up the stairs to her parents' room to pick up the phone. And as she ran up the stairs, she walked into something that was extremely cold and had substance to it, and it was made up, she says, like of neon little blue lines and dots. And
Now, these people, this is just for the audience for clarification.
yes,
These people aren't heavy drinkers.
No. It's
They're
like
not
I said
on
earlier.
drugs.
it's like the
They're
Waltons.
like the Waltons. You
They
know
look
what I
like
mean?
the
They're
Waltons.
very credible people,
Simple,
have jobs.
very
Yes.
credible people.
Yes, they
The
are.
house is neat, clean.
Very.
And remember, Tony,
Very.
that, you know, we've been doing this for 50-some years. We can tell when people
You can tell right
fabricate
away.
or
Oh yeah,
lie,
I could tell. I could tell you. Just I see when
Why I'm asking these questions, so
That's
the
what the
audience
audience-
might be
For the
saying,
audience.
oh,
Yes.
maybe those are drunks.
Yeah.
Maybe they're drug addicts.
yeah.
I'm
No.
asking because I know the
Oh,
answer
no.
is
Anything
they're not.
but. Now, I didn't want to be part of the interview like I never am. So Ed is doing the interview, and the house rambles all over the place, so I was walking. Now, there are certain areas that's very prevalent. One thing was an area that confused me. I walked into the kitchen, and I felt the presence of this young man was in there. A really profound impression of a young man. Just like, you know, Frank and Tom are here. It was just like that. You could just feel the impression strongly of him. Then I walked out the door, but the door I walked out didn't seem like the door I should be walking out. It came out in an area that confused me. Then I went into the next doorway, into the next room, which is a bathroom, but I thought, that wasn't where the doorway should be, and this is supposed to be a bedroom. I see it as a bedroom and can see this woman in the bedroom
Right?
and not a bathroom. So then I left there and I went up the one stairway that led up to the second floor. And that hallway at the top was very, very strong, very, very strong energy. But the bedrooms, I felt nothing. There's a computer room, then there's 3 bedrooms besides that computer room on that side of the house. And I really did not feel anything in that area. Then you go down a hallway, you go down a couple of stairs, because now that's the part of the house that was built in 1870.
Right.
And there's a great big huge master bedroom. But that was another thing. I walked in there and I'm all confused because I'm there during a period of time before changes were made. So all of these things were clarified for me. Now, in that area, that upper hallway, Sarah, who is the student at UConn that stays there so often, has her bedroom right at the end of that hallway. And she has been awakened numerous times because of heavy furniture being pulled down the hall. There's no furniture. It's a narrow hallway, Tony.
Right.
It's an old house with narrow hallway. It's not hallways
Right, it's not
like
spacious.
that are spacious.
Not a vast area.
And when now the daughter, I believe, is highly sensitive. Highly sensitive. There's a young son who is high school age, but the daughter's 28. She's married now. She graduated.
The daughter where the blankets were
That's what
being
I'm
tucked
just
in?
going to tell. When she was 16 years old,
Wow, blankets tucked in?
yeah, she had the flu very, very badly. Very bad, she had the flu. And she was really just getting over the flu. And she was still in bed this afternoon. And she turned over to go to sleep. She just didn't feel like getting up. And she heard somebody say, "Poor dear. She's so sick, the poor dear." And she thinks it's her mother. But then she realized it's two women that are in the room. And they tucked the covers in on both sides of her. And they're saying this. It's beautiful,
wild.
Tony.
They have seen things move. They constantly hear footsteps, you know.
And knocking.
Knocking, and television set will go on and off.
Yeah.
Lights will go on and off. These are all stages of infestation.
So you don't think these are like just nice little friendly ghosts?
Well, not the levitation isn't, and then the
Or you
son.
think it can turn?
If it
into
scares
something?
you, it's not friendly.
No.
I think that what's there is not demonic,
Right.
is not evil, is not diabolical, but it could be very mischievous.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a Grand Central Station for ghosts, as far as I'm concerned. That we've run into a few homes like that.
All right. Now,
You know where Hazardsville is?
Yeah, Hazardville.
Hazardville. I can remember years and years ago. God, I'm going back. Let's see, 1950, 49. There was a house where 8, the turnpike now goes. They destroyed the house because they had to put the turnpike through there. But there were 6 people who walked into that house and never came out.
it was on.
Now,
One
they would
step
be
beyond.
talking, as we're talking right now.
Mm-hmm.
They would walk into the living room. They would hear the voice, and it would suddenly just grow very faint, very weak.
Mm-hmm.
They'd go in there, and the person was gone. These people were never found.
It was portrayed on One Step Beyond, Tony.
You remember that show? For those of you who don't remember the show, One Step Beyond, that was one of your favorite shows, Ed.
And
What was the guy's name? Robert, was it Robert?
No.
Newland. It was Newland.
Paul? No.
No, it was John Newland.
John Newland, and we met him.
That was a good show. When I was a kid, I used to watch that show.
yeah.
Oh, Ed loved that.
That was scary. To me, it was a scary show
Well,
as a kid.
can you imagine being in New
Not on
York?
any longer, folks, but it was a great show.
Can you imagine being in New York,
One Step Beyond.
and we had Ed's
Alcoa presents.
Alcoa presents One Step
right.
Beyond, and we had Ed's paintings, and we're standing, 2 of us, to cross the street.
Yeah, and you saw him.
John Newland is standing right there.
And he was good at that.
Yeah, he
doing
was.
that narration. But anyway,
He was so nice.
what are you going to do about this house in Torrington?
Well, we're going to send people in there. Tom over here,
And Mark. are gonna
hopefully,
be
is on
going
camera right now. Mark and Mike will
Roberge.
go in.
Mike Roberge?
in. Mike Roberts.
You know, when I thanked the people before, there's a few people I forgot to thank. Mike Roberge is one. He does our website. But Mark Murad, who helps us all the time. He couldn't make it tonight. He got stuck on 84. But Mark Murad is one more guy. I'm
Yes.
probably missing Paul. There's a guy named Paul. What's his last name?
Paul Mayat.
Paul Mayad. Then there's Cheryl
Cheryl.
Wicks.
Cheryl sick.
She's sick. Cheryl Wick is sick.
Yes.
And also, we'd like to give our best wishes, Ed, Lorraine, and I, to Terry Chiafari.
Oh, yes.
Frank Chiafari is the one who does the Spirits on the Hill
Oh,
song
Frank tells me
at the
he's
beginning of the show, and he's writing more music. But Terry, his wife, has been ill lately, but she's getting better. And Terry, wish you the very best.
Yes, we do.
Cheryl Zaffis, we wish you the best. We hope you all get better fast, and we'll all go out to eat somewhere.
Frank is working on.
Yeah, Frank.
He's working on new music,
Chiafari,
right?
He's the one, of course, that, as you said, wrote the song that is
Spirits
our
on the Hill.
introduction.
The Spirits on the
Spirits on the Hill. But now he's got 10 more. And
we're gonna-
he wants to play this for us. You have to come over some night and
We're going to
we'll
mix
have
it
him
down.
play the songs for us. So, but the
He
guitar
does
a whole bit.
he does all the instrumentation himself.
Yeah.
Guitar, drums, background vocals,
Singing.
harmony. He does it all. I don't know how he
He's
does it.
phenomenal. He is really phenomenal.
He's a true one-man band.
Yeah.
Now,
But getting back to all these guys and
Well-
women, they're great because they do give of their time. Like when Lorraine and I first started, you know, it was helter-skelter. It was just her and I. We had nobody to help us.
no, we didn't.
And,
A couple more people, I forgot.
And now we got more
Tony
people
forgot
to
to
stick at.
There's Gina in the control booth. She
Yes.
works here at Charter. There's Greg, who works here at Charter, and there's other people. I can't remember the name.
James.
And another girl, Kristen,
Yes.
Kristen, who help us out. Without them, we couldn't put the show on. Period. They do the audio. They know how to do the tapes and mixing and things like that.
Okay, Frank is trying to tell you another name.
So another name, Frank? You can. And Becky. There's
Becky.
Becky,
Thank
who helps
you.
us out immensely. There's so many people at Charter, and they're great. We come in here and they're ready to help us. Like it's like 9 o'clock at night right now when we're doing this, and they're still here. They worked all day.
Yeah.
They worked all day. They're still helping us.
Yeah, it's
So
wonderful.
let's do this. Let's get on to another case if we could.
Yeah, come on.
I want to talk, Ed, about a place that you love, Chittenden.
This is a case
Chittenden,
that
Vermont.
I've been intrigued by for years and years. The Eddy Brothers in Chittenden, Vermont. Now, Chittenden, Vermont is just a speck of a place, a village.
Mm-hmm.
In the late 1800s, it was also a speck. It's still the same as it was then. No different. Farms, you go down to the center of the village, there's a fountain. That's the biggest thing around. But there is a mountain resort there now. I forget the name of it.
Mountaintop.
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 And people don't probably know the reputation of Chittenden.
And yet they have to pass the graveyard
Yeah.
where
Well, I
the
have to tell you what it is.
guys are buried.
In a farmhouse, two young boys
The Eddies.
were born right there, the Eddy Brothers, and a sister. Their mother came from Scotland and was a mystic, a woman who was a medium. The father was a very ignorant person, uncouth. I can't think of enough mean things to say about this guy. Anyhow, the two boys would constantly talk about the invisible playmates, and they talked to them and play with them. But then they started appearing in front of this father, and he thought there was some kind of tricks. The boys would go into a state of mediumship where they would be sound asleep, out like a light. He thought they were fooling around. He would take hot coals out of the fireplace and drop them in their hands. They still had the scars when they were still in their late 80s.
Oh.
They were going into a deep trance. They were deep trance mediums. As they grew older, there would be something like 40 and 50 apparitions which would appear in solid form, as solid as we are, in the attic of this farmhouse. Now, the first thing you're going to say is, it was all put on. Remember, we're going back to like 1860, 65.
Yeah, he died in 32.
You're talking about a place where they didn't have any television, no movies, no radio, no nothing. In order for these two young boys and the father and mother to create what was occurring in that attic rooms of that farmhouse, they would have to have a trailer truck full of costumes. And they would have to know about all the customs of people around the world, because you would have African chiefs which would appear. You would have Arabs which would appear. People from India in full regalia, soldiers that would appear. And they would talk just like I'm talking right now, full materializations. People would come from all over the world to see this. And you know what the Eddies would charge them? $5 a week, room and board, and they could see all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Colonel Olcott, Madame Blavatsky, who were the leading investigators, and she was the leading clairvoyant of her day, came all the way from Russia. And they came up there, they witnessed all of these manifestations, apparitions, ghosts, but it went a step further. Down the road about a mile away is a cave. We have a picture of here, we can show it.
Honto's Cave.
Honto's Cave. An Indian chief by the name of Honto
Is this it?
was the one that would appear there.
That's where the rock is.
Now, he would appear on top of this ledge of the cave.
I'm just going to hold
And-
these up, and I don't know how the camera's going to pick them up because they're a little
Glossy.
they're a little glossy. But if you can get
That's
any
it.
of this,
We got
That's good.
That's Honto's Cave.
That's
Ed?
Honto's
where you
Cave,
go into
and right
it.
on the top of that rock, this Chief Honto would appear.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have with him maybe 25 or 30 Indians. And people who would come to the farm would all sit around in a circle around this huge rock and cave. And these Indians would get up there and they would talk and they would perform different ceremonies.
I could see that psychically, Tony.
Do you have another picture there?
This is, yeah, this kind of shows.
Let me just put this picture right up,
Yeah.
right in front of this one, Tom. And Tom is an expert cameraman. He'll get this. That's another view of it.
See, there's the
If you
entrance
came-
of the
There's the
cave.
entrance of the cave. Now, it shows the house here as it was during the time of the Eddy Brothers. It's still there today, the house.
It is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm
We
going to
were
show the
there.
house
We
now.
went in there and
Let's
we
see the
had
house.
communication in the
Let's see
house.
it, Lorraine.
We were
Now,
there.
Tom, it's up to you, Tom, to...
There, it's up
Is
there
that on
in
the left?
No, it's, turn it around. Tony.
Is that this one?
That's as it was, the drawing of it.
That's how it was, Tony, and that's
Up
how
on
it
the
is today.
left-hand corner, and there it is on the right, the way it is today. They moved the house around, actually. And there's Horatio and William Eddy.
Can you
They
lower it?
lived to
Can you
be
hit
in their
this?
90s,
There you
know.
go.
Yeah,
There you
he
go.
lived to be 90, this
Yeah.
one. Eddy, Bill Eddy, William Eddy.
But you know, the father, when he found out that this was legitimate, he had some guy from a circus take the kids away. He paid them so much. These kids were abused terribly. In fact, one time they were actually tarred and feathered
You're kidding. The
because
kids?
people felt that they were tarred and feathered
devil
because
was
they
in 'em.
felt that they were fakes and they ran them out of this town.
Or that the devil.
Now, what's this picture here? Is this anything that
That's
you want
a,
to
that's a,
show?
that's a
Well,
relative.
that's one of the relations of the Eddys.
That's the only relation that we know of
He
that's
still lives
left.
up in Chittenden.
We're going to
and
show
he-
this shot
He
of
is an
Tom.
Eddy.
Yeah, he is an Eddy.
Yeah, he is an Eddy.
Like he's an Eddy, one of the Eddies?
Yeah.
He's a relative of the Eddies?
That's Ed. Well,
That's
And,
Ed Warren back in what? About 18
83.
years ago? About 18 years ago?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's-
18
we were
years
there.
ago.
18 years ago, and Ed was 30 years old.
Well, I have a letter from him about 3 months ago,
Yes, this
and
man.
we're going to get together, and I want to go up
Okay.
there, and I'd love to take some psychic pictures at the cave in the house.
So you've been to Chittenden, right, Ed? You've been there.
Oh, we've
many
been in the
times, right?
house.
A dozen times.
Oh, yes.
We've been in the house.
Did any get any special feelings? We're running a little low on time. We've got about 2 minutes or a minute
Yeah.
and a half.
What,
Got any special feelings when you go in that house?
when we went to the grave sites, Tony, where they're buried, and we also went to Honto's Cave. Now, when we were at Honto's Cave, I could see these people like all outlining and like going all the way down the sides of that big stone, and they were holding candles and they were dressed in some sort of ceremonial thing. I could see that psychically.
Psychically.
Yeah, and then we were in the house, which is now owned by a game preserve, honey.
Game people.
Game preserve.
So
It's-
anybody who wants to go to Chittenden, it's right, Chittenden, Vermont.
Oh,
It's
yes.
on the map.
Yes.
There's no biggie to get to, right?
and right where that mountaintop lodge is
Anybody
the
has any,
graveyard.
Anybody has any questions about how to get to Chittenden, can write us
Oh,
at
yeah.
P.O. Box 41, right to the Warrens, P.O. Box 41, Monroe, Connecticut, 06468. If you got any psychic pictures you want to send us, send them.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
want to know how to get to Chittenden, well, of course, Lorraine will personally answer your letter. That's great. I mean, I want to go up to Chittenden myself.
Yeah.
Have a nice-
We used to take
Yeah.
people up there on ghost hunts.
Yeah,
we gotta go.
Judy's,
We gotta go up
Judy's
there
been
again.
there with us.
We'll have,
She's
a nice,
been there.
we'll have a nice dinner.
Yes.
Okay, for Ed Warren, for Lorraine Warren, for Charter, for all the guys that are helping us out tonight, I'm Tony Spera. Have a nice day.